used to teach through Mind Oasis in the first year of the pandemic. And I don't think anybody was here with me except for Nina. I know Evelyn joined. Lulu is also my assistant in the NGO that I run that provides mindfulness practices and humanitarian aid to the women and children living in the slums of Kampala. So I did teach with Mind Oasis for about a year and a half, I think. I can't remember. I don't think any of us can really truly remember anything clearly from the pandemic. And so I'm happy to be back, and really excited to offer tonight's short little session, and also starting next week a workshop on loving kindness. So tonight I'm just going to share my screen so everybody can see this image. Okay, and the 1,000,000 tabs that I have open, because that's all the work that I'm doing. So everybody can see this, yeah? Yeah. Okay, cool. I'm curious how many people here are familiar with this image. It's not a common image, Buddha with the snowflakes, but there it is. There's the 3 channels, and that's what we're going to talk about tonight. So if you are familiar with this, please just give me a little shout out. All right. Some of you are. Okay, cool. So just take a moment and look at it. The practice that we're going to do tonight, the 9 breaths of purification in clearing obstacles, is a practice that I learned, I don't even know, 15 years ago, something like that, through Tenzin Wangyal Rinpoche, who's a Bon Buddhist. And the 9 breaths of purification is a practice that many of us do before we sit in a longer meditation practice. So for me, I take my vows, and then I do 9 breaths of purification, and then I move into a longer sit, which is usually 20 to 30 minutes. And then ideally also followed by some mindful movement. Ideally, my morning practice is about 1.5 to 2 hours. So what we're looking at here is very similar to kind of like the chakra system in yoga. And some of you might be familiar with that as far as doing alternate nostril breathing and clearing the channels, right? Okay. This here, what we're looking at, the blue central channel, and this is also really, really closely associated with Qigong and Taoism, which I also teach. And that's kind of why I dig it, because they make sense to me. So the blue is the central channel, okay? And the right, which is the white, is the side channel that is associated with any form of aversion. And you've probably heard that from your trainings and the teachings that you've been doing or undertaking. And that means any form of pushing away. Aversion meaning anger, frustration, irritation, both in small ways, big ways, okay? And then the left channel, the red channel, which is also associated with the female and wisdom. The right is associated with male and skillful means. But the red channel, the left channel, is associated with any form of attachment. So that grasping mind, the greedy mind. And it's not only grasping for the things that we don't have, but that we want, but also for what we do have. And think about that for a moment, okay? Like for me, what typically comes up is like my ego, my physical capacity, right? Also my youth, which is waning, you know? So I'm going to put us back onto gallery mode so we can all see each other. And then we're going to go into the practice, which, and I've timed this because I share it oftentimes with many people, is like 6 to 7 minutes, okay? And one of the reasons that I really like this practice is because it's a mirror for what you're working with, what your obstacles are, right? In yoga land, it's the fluctuations of the mind. Right. In Buddhism, it's the obstacles, it's the the things that get in the way of our freedom, right? And the central channel, that blue channel, is associated with ignorance, right? In which we've forgotten that we are all connected and everything is impermanent. And so from a layperson's point of view, when I've shared practice with many humans who are not necessarily Buddhist, I like to remind people that there's three things that I know that are 100% true. The first is that we're all going to die, impermanence, right? The second is that every single one of us wants to love and be loved, equanimity. And the third is that every single thing that we do in small ways and big ways, right? Why am I drinking Earl Grey tea? You know, why do I run an NGO? Small ways, big ways are associated with the first two. That push, pull that we're always doing. Does that make sense? So what we're going to do is clear those obstacles. And while we're doing so, we're also going to deeply engage the parasympathetic nervous system and help us to find calm, which helps us to find freedom. Because when we feel like we're going to jump out of our own skin, it's pretty difficult, right? All right, so let's practice, and then we'll do a little short Q&A. So find that you can sit well, right? This is the kind of first pillar of mindfulness, is mindfulness of the body. So you can broaden your collarbones and lift up your sternum. Okay, whether you're seated on a cushion or on a chair, just draw your belly button slightly in. And we'll just start with 3 regular box breaths. So take a deep inhale. Gently hold it. And exhale. And again, deep inhale. Gently hold it. And exhale. Notice any tension. See if you can soften your eyes and your ears. Relax your jaw. One more boxed breath. Okay, take a deep inhale. Gently hold it. And exhale. Okay, and as with any practice, you can do this with your eyes open or closed, however you feel comfortable. Okay, and this is going to be super simple. I know in some alternate breath work, alternate nostril breath work, their hand mudras are kind of complicated. This is super easy. Take the middle finger of the right hand, or if your right-handed arm is broken, I'm sorry, Evelyn, use the left. Okay, gently close the right nostril. Okay, as we inhale through the left, you can imagine a Kelly green light coming in. So deep inhale. Okay, you can engage Mula Bandha or the pelvic floor. Draw it up, drop the chin, and allow any recent moment of aversion, anger, frustration, irritation to just arise. See where it is in your mind body. And do so with utter compassion to yourself. And then lift the chin, close left, exhale right, watching that green light clear the channel. Okay, we're going to do that 2 more times. Also, for those of you that are curious or have been practicing for quite a while, you can close your nostrils without touching your nose. All right, so keeping the spine long, close right, inhale left. Draw the pelvic floor up, drop the chin, and simply notice any recent or maybe not so recent moment of aversion. Lift the chin, close left, exhale right. Follow the breath all the way. Okay, and if you need to release the breath before I give the prompt, please do. Honor your lung capacity and also your nervous system. So one more on this side. Close right, inhale left. Drop the chin, engage the bandhas. Notice. Lift the chin. Close left, exhale right. Okay. You can take a regular inhale and exhale. Okay, as you kind of move into the practice and habituate it more and more, ideally you would just move right into the other side. So now close the left, inhale right, drop the chin, lift up the pelvic floor, and notice any recent or not so recent moment of attachment, grasping. Maybe even notice where it's in your body. Maybe even with some humor. And when you're ready, lift the chin, close right, exhale left. And again, close left, inhale right. Drop the chin, engage the pelvic floor. Notice, perhaps with curiosity, what are you holding on to? Lift the chin, close right, exhale left, envisioning that Kelly green light. One more on this side, close left, inhale right. Drop the chin into the sternum. Notice. Again, with utter compassion to yourself. When you're ready, lift the chin. Close right, exhale left. You can take a regular inhale and exhale. Okay, and now we're going to inhale through both nostrils. And what I like to do is draw the breath over the back of the skull, down the spine, and kind of curl it around the belly button as I retain it. Okay, we'll do that 3 times, each time individually. And then what I like to do is draw one last breath down inside of me, and I'll guide us through that. But you may notice as well that like my eyes has softened. My being has softened, and that is the effect of the practice on the nervous system. Okay, so let's do the 3 breaths, clearing the central channel of any form of ignorance, doubt. All right, deep inhale, drop the chin, engage the pelvic floor, retain the breath, and when we release this breath, you're going to envision an electric blue light clearing up through the crown of the skull. So you can lift the chin, release the pelvic floor, exhale. And again, deep inhale. Drop the chin, engage the pelvic floor. Release the pelvic floor, lift the chin, exhale. Follow it up all the way into the atmosphere, into the heavens. And again, deep inhale. And drop the chin. Engage the pelvic floor. When we release this breath, we're going to immediately inhale back down into us through the central channel in the form of a golden light, all of the wisdom and compassion of all of the Buddhas and your teachers. So lift the chin, exhale. And then inhale one last time. And if you like, you can drop the chin again and allow the wisdom and compassion of all of your past, present, and future teachers to infuse every cell of your body. And when you're ready, you can lift the chin, exhale out through every cell of your body. And then simply notice the quality of mind that arises. So when I'm sharing practice, especially when I'm sharing in hospital systems or with the very many trauma survivors that I work with, I try to remind people that breath work is like your daily prescription. And it's also dose dependent. You know, the more that you do breath work every day, right? It's a way of deepening the resiliency. You're tapping into that resiliency. And as I mentioned before, you know, I do this every day before I do a longer sit. And so what this allows me to do is to regulate my nervous system so that I can sit. Because sometimes also a seated practice may not be appropriate for you. It could be a moving practice, okay? A walking meditation or a running meditation, you know? Right? Like if I did this practice and then I still had a really hard time slowing down and focusing on my breath or my heartbeat or whatever it is, I'd be like, all right, maybe it's time to do a walking practice. There's many different practices, many different ways to come into wisdom.